Okay, so today I'm going to be making a video showing my 3 Hitachi trimmers. This is basically my Hitachi trimmer collection. I actively search for and collect Hitachi and Tanaka trimmers. I have one other Tanaka product, but it's an older one, so I will not include it in this video. But this video is just meant to show you the 3 Hitachi string trimmers that I own, as well as I want to direct this video to Hitachi Corporation, and if possible, I'd like to get a few answers to some questions that I have. I guess first we'll start off with the questions, and then I'll show you around the trimmers a little bit. So the first question that I have is, why did you discontinue this lineup here? It's the 21cc engine and the 23.9cc engine. Why was that ever discontinued? I know there was a recall. I personally hadn't had them done on my machines. The second one here, the curve shaft, which I purchased secondhand, has had the recall update. It was purchased that way with the update. So this first trimmer here I've owned since 2012 or 2013. It's a 2012 model. This one I own since 2017, this year. It's a 2013 model. And this one I'm actually not completely 100% sure. I believe this is a 2013 model, and I purchased it in 2014 secondhand. The curve shaft and the 23cc unit were both purchased secondhand. The straight shaft was purchased brand new, and it's been a phenomenal trimmer. Used it for 2 years hard, and the rest was just homeowner use. And I personally have not been able to find another machine that's as balanced, as light, and as powerful as this Hitachi. I don't know if it's just mine or what it is, because even this curve shaft one, it runs well. It runs excellent, in fact, but it doesn't run quite as well as the one that I've owned since new. The engine, people would say that they sound identical, feel identical, whatever. The one that I've owned since new, it has a lot more power, and I haven't really been able to figure out why. It could be because it is, not a flex cable. It is a solid steel drive shaft, and once you've owned a trimmer with a solid steel drive shaft, you don't want to go back to a flex cable. It's never the same. Beyond that, I have a second question. The second question is, I've noticed through research online, there's been a next generation of Hitachi trimmers released. The ones that I'm mostly interested in is the 22.5cc trimmer. I want to compare its weight, power, everything like that to my 21cc machine, as well as a few other machines that I own. And if someone from Hitachi is watching this, I can say that I have been sponsored by other companies to do reviews, and if that's something that it's something that you might be interested in, by all means, I'm 100% okay with that. Beyond that, I would like to purchase one for myself. And I do live in Canada, and they're not available on Amazon.ca, which is a bit of a problem. The only reason why that's a problem is because they are not available in store. I haven't found a store that actually carries them, nor have I ever seen a dealer for Tanaka in the past. I've got to say at least 5-6 years, and they were quite far from me, about a 2.5 hour drive. So the trimmers here, these are Tanaka engines. Hitachi purchased Tanaka Corporation and used their technology, put Hitachi badging on them, and they made a good product, a very good product indeed. And I do actually really enjoy using these products. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that these are not my only string trimmers. For most people, this is more than your average person is going to have, but I own upwards of 10, maybe even more than that, string trimmers. I do collect them. Depending upon the model, it's not something where I go, oh look, I'm at Home Depot, I'm gonna purchase this one brand new. It's not like that at all, unless it's something specific that I've been looking at. It's not, I'm just out and about and I just so happen to purchase one. It's specific makes and models, and some things that are rare. These Hitachi trimmers are quite rare. I know in the USA, maybe not so, but where I live anyways, these trimmers here, curve shaft models, are going for almost $200 used. And it's very seldom that you actually find one for sale. They just seem to be very good, because they're quite light and they make a lot of power. Anyways, I hope you guys can answer my questions, which, again, the first one is, why were these discontinued? Secondly, is there any way that I can acquire a 22.5cc straight shaft Hitachi string trimmer? Be it I purchase it, and I'm not looking to have to pay a extensive amount of import fees, because I do live in Canada. But if there is some way at all that you guys could sponsor me for a video, or I can, give you some numbers and I could purchase the machine, that would be great. This is all going off of if Hitachi even sees this video, which hopefully somehow they will. Anyways, I'll start up the machines, show you how they run. The one that I've used the most is this one here, the straight shaft model. Second to that is this curve shaft model. I've only used it a few times around the house, and it works well. Runs very similar to this one. Again, I said this one here has a bit more power than it. Could be because it is curve shaft, but there's just something about it. They don't run quite identical. And this one here, I've owned since 2014. I've only used it about 3 or 4 times. It's sat on the shelf a lot, and it seems to be made a little bit cheaper than the other two. I'm not a big fan of the engine case designing, meaning the cover. I'm more particular on this 2-piece design rather than a single cover like that. Although you are very, well protected from the engine. The trimmer head is a little bit harder to use than what is found on the straight shaft model. This one here does not have a reloadable head. It is a rapid load, single piece of line. It cuts with 2 pieces, as you can see here, but you cut a single piece of line, squeeze this button, and just feed it through. And that's how that works. Beyond that, I'll start these up. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to start up here is the straight shaft model, the 21cc engine model. We'll prime the carburetor about 5 times, turn the kill switch to the run position, and put the choke on. Something that I've kind of liked about these engines is the choke actually operates in the opposite direction as in most trimmers. Normally you would flip the choke up, but in this one you flip the choke down to engage the start position. So we'll give this a start here. Normally starts on first or second pull, and I've never had to really do any maintenance to this machine. I have cleaned the air filter a couple of times, which is relatively easy to get to. There's some debris on it here, so it will need to be cleaned once again. And I've never actually changed or even looked at the spark plug on this machine. I have winterized it once or twice, I believe, but I actually have stopped since then winterizing, as I use a fuel that it contains no ethanol, and it does not actually affect the overall quality of the fuel come spring. So we'll start it up now, and I'll give it a slight amount of throttle and give it a pull. And it is cold. I can plug the exhaust if I have to, and let it warm up. So the trimmer has been running for a little bit now, and I will rev it up, and we'll get a little bit of blue smoke just because it's been sitting for some time. I don't use these trimmers on a regular basis. And like I was explaining, I don't use these trimmers on a regular basis just because, especially this one here, holds a bit of sentimental value to me, and I just would hate for something to happen to it. Although it is just a machine, it's somewhat easily to replace, although this one does not have the recall done on it and whatnot. I've mowed quite a few lawns with this trimmer, and I've made quite a bit of money with it, and it's managed to stay in this good a shape. But as you guys know, I take extensive care of my machinery. So we'll move on to the next one now. So just move the camera down here. This is the curve shaft model. It too is cold. We'll prime it and engage the choke. Turn it to the on position. Now, as you may or may not have noticed, the shroud here is a slightly different design than the original one, and they've added this cover here onto the back of the exhaust. I believe that cover has to do with the recall. I'm not entirely 100% sure on this, but I vaguely remember it having to do with starting fires from the spark arrestor. I couldn't be 100% sure, but I know that there's a possibility of it. And yeah, so where I live, I don't have that problem. There's not a lot of dry material near me at all. So anyways, we'll give this thing a start. So just pull the pull cord here, prime the unit. It is cold, hasn't been started in about a week or so. I'll add a little bit of throttle here just to ease it, and I'll give it a pull. Should take 1 to 2 pulls. First pull, we'll turn the choke off. And once again, a bit of smoke because it has been sitting. I'll let this run for a bit, and then I'll let you hear it at full throttle. So the trimmer has been running for about a few minutes now, and I'll let you hear the engine at full throttle. It has now reached maximum operating temperature. I'll shut it off. As you can hear, this being identical to the previous one that I've started, the straight shaft, it does sound slightly different than the actual previous one. So we'll move on to the last one with the different engine, it being the 23.9 cc engine. So whereas the other two trimmers actually have a date posted, this one has a code, and the code is 5C. So I'm not sure if anybody can make anything of that to actually know the year of this machine. There's a few problems that I've had with this. I haven't had to tear anything apart or fix anything, but this rubber handle here is actually deteriorating, and it spends most of its time actually sitting up on a shelf. I've only used this trimmer about 3 or 4 times, and the times that I have used it have been okay, but I have actually experienced more than once a slight amount of clutch slip, which can be annoying. You have to pull back from the object that you're trimming, allow the trimmer head to reach full speed, and then go back to what you were trimming. So this one, like most conventional trimmers, the choke to put it on is in the up position, and the primer bulb is situated just underneath here, underneath the carburetor, like a lot of rotary style carburetors are. This has a nice fuel tank, good fuel tank cover. It's something that Hitachi has really done well is their fuel tank covers. I'm extremely confident that I will not run into problems with that part of the machine. I personally, like I said, haven't really had to do anything to these machines. So we'll put this in the start position, and this one's been sitting the longest. Like I said, I've only used it a handful of times. It is cold. I can touch the exhaust, and we'll see how it starts. It should start up relatively easily. This machine usually starts on the second or third pull, sometimes the first. So we'll give it a start. Not quite as easy as the other one, but it has been sitting longer. But it still fell into the range that I was hoping for. Now, something that you may notice about these trimmers, all the Hitachi trimmers, they have a smaller outlet for the exhaust, which makes them run a lot quieter, and I really do enjoy that. I'll allow this machine to warm up now. So the machine's been running for about 5 minutes now. I believe it's up to operating temperature, and we'll rev it up here for you. You can see this machine doesn't emit as much smoke, but it's also running on a mix that was made about a year ago, I would say. So you can see using a non-ethanol based fuel actually allows you to keep your fuel in your machine for quite some time, and the fuel does not go stale as long as the fuel cap is on properly and does not actually allow the fuel to evaporate. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on my 3 Hitachi string trimmers. And if anybody from Hitachi happens to see this video, I would really appreciate those questions answered. More importantly, I really do want to purchase the 22.5cc model unit. If you could please let me know where I could do so in Canada, that would be great. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was another video by Pimpinpenz. If you have any questions on any string trimmers, not only Hitachi, please let me know, and I'll give you my opinions, what I think. It is somewhat of a specialty to me, starting out as a small engine mechanic. I now actually work as a automotive technician, and this is just my hobby. Quite an expensive one, not as expensive as others, not as, cheap as some, but I enjoy it. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys later.